Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 14th of January, comes to you from Sydney in Australia. I'm still here, and I've been chained to my desk all day today because I have been preparing my market breadth webinar for LSEG on Friday, and lots of charts. And market breadth does take some time to run through all the different markets and do the breadth analysis. But here we see the S&P E-mini because the S&P the S&P index is hard to get hold of, but this is the future, and this is the percentage of stocks, the 500 stocks that are above the 200-day moving average. Paul Tudor Jones once said, nothing good happens below the 200-day moving average. At the moment, we see 64.5% of stocks are above the 200-day moving average. But we did see how that fell away at the start of last year. And this is a bit the breadth, if you like. We're seeing a little bit of divergence where this isn't climbing, yet the market is still just climbing. So quite interesting, but a lot more to cover there on Friday. But that's what I've been doing for most of today. Big news today is that Bitcoin has activated a new upside target on the daily chart, breaking higher, breaking above that 95,000 level at the moment. So that has activated an upside target. We are not yet above the cloud, and it's a bit early to say really that this is a recovery, but it is good news for those tracking Bitcoin. Of course, we'd have to go through 105,000 to take this target off the chart, the unactivated one, so that still does hang over us. Looking at the 60-minute chart, we see this target that was given wasn't previously met and now has been met. So we've seen that run, and a target that was produced yesterday at 92,000 has taken us straight to 96,000. So really quite key there, or 95,000, nearly just touching 96,000. So there is some resistance there at the moment, and that's a previous level as well. So that's good news for cryptocurrency traders. And we did look at crypto yesterday. Looking at the markets, dollar is fairly flat. We're seeing the Nasdaq here still waiting for that target to activate, so no big changes there. The S&P future is down 0.2%. The Nasdaq future is down 0.2%, suggests the market is going to open lower. If we look at European markets, it was pretty mixed yesterday, not much change. DAX down slightly. Japan is still rocketing. This is the real standout market at the moment. Upside target there, really strong on the daily chart there. On the 60-minute, on the weekly chart, also very strong above the cloud. You can bet your bottom yen that the Japanese are looking at these Ichimoku clouds, and on the 60-minute chart, we've activated a new upside target as well. So Japan really running strong there. Really quite a key standout. Looking at the Sensex, not quite as strong and just running a little bit flat. We've done some breadth analysis on that today for Friday's webinar. And looking at the Aussie market, no clear targets here on the daily, but on the 60-minute, we do have an upside target, which is encouraging. And again, we've done some breadth analysis. Looking at the energy mix, we will cover the energy mix fully in charts today out to clients in an hour or so. But we see here that we are seeing a pullback just early on in energy. No big surprises after the big rises that we've seen in recent days. Brent crude is off about 0.75%. We do have this upside target, but it's hitting cloud resistance at 65 significantly. 65 is quite a likely level because 70 and 80 have been previous levels. 70 and 60 have been previous levels. So no big surprise that the halfway mark is the longer-term cloud position. Taking a look at some of the commodities, we've got cocoa. That's down 4%. So that's really quite key. There's a symmetrical triangle breakdown there. Sugar, just sitting a little bit better off this key level at 14. We have a couple of upside targets there, but it's a mixed picture. And if you go to the 60-minute, it really shows this symmetrical triangle and targets in both directions. So quite key there as well. We're seeing coffee actually up 1.3%. So that's looking a bit better. Gold and silver still looking strong. Silver, that new upside target to $103, and we're well on the way to that. So that's looking very, very strong indeed. US 10-year yields, we are waiting for the break here. That's going to be the key thing. Will we activate this upside target to 4.58%? We already have on the 30-year, which we've mentioned before. So that's going to be quite key there. Just watching what happens on the 10-minute. Stocks were fairly mixed yesterday. Looking at the Mag 7, Apple up slightly. The news that they're adopting Google's AI has sent Google higher. Of course, this was our Mag 7 pick for the year. That's going to plan, so that's looking very strong indeed. Looking at the Dow 30, just looking at the best and worst performers, we can see here Walmart continues to be a strong performer. Look at that, pushing towards those targets. These targets all generated at the dots, all pushing higher there, so looking very strong indeed. Salesforce really hit yesterday, down 7%, and that chart not looking at all good. So that's quite interesting there. And if we look at the NASDAQ 100, we saw Adobe, this one also looking pretty grim, breaking to new multi-year lows. So really significant there that we are seeing that. And we've done, again, for Friday, quite a lot of breadth analysis for US stocks. And of course, I can go right to the S&P 500, and we see here Moderna, they're up 17%. So that stock really in recovery mode. Target already met there, so that's quite key. The targets are a little bit steeper here on the Moderna, so you can actually just steepen them to match the price data, and we can see here we're probably near a 1 or even better, but the target's already been met. We look at and Intel was also strong yesterday. AMD chips clearly going up. And look at that on Intel. We've got upside targets there, still looking very, very strong. So that's one to watch as well. Looking at the other end of the spectrum on the S&P 500, Salesforce we've already mentioned, Solventum, and Adobe was in those worst performers, so we've seen that as well. So really quite key there. Going back to the Dow, Boeing, that's a pretty strong recovery so far this year. Upside target there, breaking to a multi-year high, so that's really quite encouraging. Cisco up 2%, looking a lot better than some of the other tech stocks, but still not making new highs. And stocks like Caterpillar, seeing here, new upside targets. So we really are seeing some quite interesting charts here. But on the whole, and then we know banks have been strong. So it's quite interesting to look at the banks. They didn't have such a good day yesterday. JP Morgan off 4%. So that was quite key. That's falling back quite significantly from that target. Remember, if you're trading these stocks, you want to be looking at the 60-minute. That kicked in yesterday, and that's where we're going on the 60-minute. And if we look at just some of the others, Goldman Sachs has been another strong performer. That wasn't as badly hit as JP Morgan, on its way to the target there as well. Really quite key. Remember, you can just hit the T key on any chart for the target. So it's really very simple. Just hit the T key and it will draw all the trends and targets on, purely rules based, and that's the beauty of it. So really powerful indeed. And more people are using them. And of course, you can be using them on TradingView, Here's My Bitcoin, or on Bloomberg. Totally up to you. But really great here. I'm running on the LSEG feed. You can run on over 30 different data sources with UpData, including Metastock, which is also a very good feed. Anyway, that's it for today. A pretty mixed picture for stocks. All eyes on the energy mix. That's what we're going to be looking at next in our morning call. So markets, still a lot of uncertainty, and it's just going to be a very interesting day to watch. Until tomorrow, happy charting. Bye for now.